4 Aryan lineages, Arya Vangsa. Here among A is content with any old robe, praises such contentment and does not try to obtain robes improperly and unsuitably. He does not worry if he does not get a robe, and if he does, he is not full of greedy, blind desire, but makes use of it, aware of such dangers and wisely aware of its true purpose. Nor is he conceited about being thus content with any old robe, and he does not disparage others. And one who is thus skillful, not lax, clearly aware and mindful, is known as a monk who is true to the ancient original Aryan lineage. Again, a monk is content with any alms food he may get. C, a monk is content with any old lodging. And D, a monk being fond of abandoning, rejoices in abandoning, and being fond of developing, rejoices in developing, and not therefore conceited. And one who is thus skillful, not lax, clearly aware and mindful, is known as a monk who is true to the ancient original Aryan lineage. This is the fourth one, fond of abandoning unwholesome states, fond of developing wholesome states, like the jhanas. Number 10, 4 efforts. The effort of restraint, abandoning, development and preservation. What is the effort of restraint? Here a monk seeing an object with the eye does not grasp at the whole or its details, striving to restrain what might cause evil, unwholesome states, such as hankering or sorrow to flood in on him. Thus he watches over the sense of sight and guards it. Similarly with sound, smells, taste, touch and thoughts. That means he guards his 6 senses. Don't pay too much attention. What is the effort of abandoning? Here a monk does not assent to a thought of lust, hatred or cruelty that has arisen, but abandons it, dispels it, destroys it, makes it disappear. So abandoning means abandon thoughts, unwholesome thoughts. What is the effort of development? Here a monk develops the enlightenment factor of mindfulness or recollection based on solitude, detachment, extinction, leading to maturity of surrender. He develops the enlightenment factor of investigation of Dhamma, energy, delight, tranquility, concentration, equanimity. So the effort of development means to develop the enlightenment factors, bojjhanga. And what is the effort of preservation? Here a monk keeps firmly in his mind a favorable object of concentration. This one should be samadhi nimitta, which has arisen, such as a skeleton or a corpse that is full of worms, blue-black, full of holes, bloated. So to keep preservation means to preserve your object of concentration all the time. 11. 4 knowledges. Knowledge of Dhamma, of what is consonant with it, knowledge of others' minds and conventional knowledge. 12. 4 more knowledges. Knowledge of suffering, origin, cessation and the path to the end of suffering. 4 factors of stream attainment. Association with true persons, that means Arya. Hearing the true Dhamma, that means the suttas. Thorough attention and practice of the Dhamma in accordance with the Dhamma. So to become a Sotapanna, you have to practice these 4 things. You have to go near an Arya. You have to hear the true Dhamma. You have thorough attention when you hear the true Dhamma. And you have to practice the Dhamma in accordance with Dhamma. So you see here, hearing the true Dhamma. Without hearing the true Dhamma, you cannot become a Sotapanna. Number 14. 4 characteristics of a stream winner. Here the Aryan disciple is possessed of unwavering confidence in the Buddha thus. This blessed Lord is an Arahant, Sammasambuddha, endowed with vision, with wisdom, etc. B. He is possessed of unwavering confidence in the Dhamma thus. Well, proclaimed by the Lord is the Dhamma, visible here and now. Timeless, inviting inspection, leading onward to be comprehended by the wise, each one for himself. C. He is possessed of unwavering confidence in the Sangha. Well directed is the Sangha, etc. D. He is possessed of morality dear to the noble ones, unbroken, without defect, unspotted, without inconsistency, liberating, praised by the wise and conducive to concentration. Stop here for a moment. So these are 4 characteristics of a stream winner. Stream winner or Sotapanna has unshakable faith in the Buddha, unshakable faith in the Dhamma, unshakable faith in the Sangha. And he has the Aryan Sila. What is the Aryan Sila? Aryan Sila in the Noble Eightfold Path consists of right speech, right action, and right livelihood. If you analyze these 3 factors, it's basically 7 precepts. 3 concerning the body: not to kill, not to steal, not to commit sexual misconduct. 4 concerning the speech: not to lie, not to carry tales to cause disharmony, not to speak coarse or vulgar words, and not to engage in idle gossip. These are the 7 precepts of an Aryan. 4 fruits of the ascetic life: the fruits of stream entry, once returner, non-returner of arahantship. First one is Sotapanna, Sakadagamin, Anagamin, and Arahant. 4 elements: earth, water, fire, air or wind. 4 nutriments: material, food, gross or subtle, contact, volition, and consciousness. 4 stations of consciousness. Consciousness gains a footing either in relation to materiality, with materiality as object and basis, as a place for enjoyment, or similarly in regard to feelings, perceptions, volition, and there it grows, increases, and flourishes. 4 ways of going wrong: through desire, hatred, delusion, and fear. 4 arousals of craving. Craving arises because of robes, arms, lodging, being and non-being for a monk. 4 kinds of progress: painful progress with slow comprehension, painful progress with quick comprehension, pleasant progress with slow comprehension, pleasant progress with quick comprehension. Painful means, stop here for a moment. Painful means these defilements give you a lot of pain. People who have a temper, gives them painful progress. People with lust, sensual desire, also find the holy life very painful. But somebody with not strong hindrances, then these don't disturb him so much. 4 more kinds of progress: progress with impatience, progress with patience, controlled progress, and calm progress. 4 ways of Dhamma: without hankering, without enmity, with right mindfulness, with right concentration. 4 ways of undertaking Dhamma. There is the way that is painful in the present and brings painful future results. Painful in the present and brings pleasant future results. Pleasant in the present and brings painful future results. And pleasant in the present and brings pleasant future results. Stop here for a moment. Painful in the present and brings painful future results. This probably refers to those external ascetics who torture themselves. They do all kinds of ascetic practices which cause them a lot of suffering now. And because of their wrong view, in the future they take rebirth in a woeful plane. B, painful in the present and brings pleasant future results. Like somebody practicing the Noble Eightfold Path and very strict with the Vinaya and all that. So he feels a bit of suffering. But because he struggles hard and attains jhana and all that, so he has a pleasant future result. Pleasant in the present and brings painful future results. These are some of the, for example, the external ascetics. They are naked and then they see each other naked and then they engage in sexual intercourse. So it's pleasant now, but in the future they will suffer. Pleasant in the present and brings pleasant future results. These are those monks whose hindrances are not strong and they easily attain the jhanas. So the holy life is pleasant for them now, and in the future they have a good rebirth again. 4 divisions of Dhamma: morality, concentration, wisdom, liberation. 4 powers: energy, mindfulness, concentration, wisdom. 4 kinds of resolve: to gain wisdom, truth, relinquishment, and tranquility. 4 ways of answering questions. A, to answer it directly. B, requiring an explanation. You have to explain first before answering. C, requiring a counter question. Somebody asks you a question, you ask him another question. To be set aside, means you don't want to answer the question. 4 kinds of karma. Black karma with black result. Bright karma with bright result. Black and bright karma with black and bright result. Karma that is neither black nor bright, with neither black nor bright result, leading to the destruction of karma. Black karma with black result is somebody do evil and then you suffer for it. That's the black result. Bright karma with bright result, you do good and you get good. See, you do good and bad, black and bright. And then you are reborn in a place where you have happiness and also suffering, like the human world. Karma that is neither black nor bright, and with neither black nor bright result, is a monk who is not interested to do good and he does not do evil. He strives in the holy life, and then he attains liberation. So there is no more result in the happy or unhappy realms of rebirth. 4 things to be realized by seeing former lives, to be realized by recollection. Passing away and re-arising, to be realized by the divine eye. The 8 deliverances, to be realized with the mental body. Destruction of the asavas, to be realized by wisdom. The 4 floods, sensuality, becoming, views and ignorance. The 4 yokes is the same as before. The 4 unyokings, from sensuality, becoming, views and ignorance. The 4 ties, the body tie, kaya ganta, of hankering, ill will, attachment to rules and rituals, dogmatic fanaticism. 4 clingings to sensuality, views, rules and rituals, and ego or self-belief. 4 kinds of birth, from an egg, womb, from moisture and spontaneous rebirth. 4 ways of descent into the womb. 1 descends into the mother's womb unknowing, stays there unknowing and leaves it unknowing. B, 1 enters the womb knowing, stays there unknowing and leaves it unknowing. C, 1 enters the womb knowing, stays there knowing and leaves it unknowing. D, 1 enters the womb knowing, stays there knowing and leaves it knowing. 38. 4 ways of getting a new personality. There is an acquisition of personality that is brought about by one's own volition, not another's. B, another's volition, not one's own. C, both. D, neither. This one I'm not sure how it comes about. 4 purifications of offerings. There is an offering purified by the giver, not by the recipient. By the recipient, not by the giver. By neither, by both. This one, purified means becomes higher. For example, by the giver, not by the recipient. That means the person who gives is a very pure person, a very virtuous person. But the person who receives is not a virtuous person. For example, the Aryan lay person gives to a beggar who might be a criminal. So the gift is purified by the giver. B, by the recipient, not by the giver. For example, ordinary person, Putujana, does not keep the precept and all that. He gives to a holy man, Arya. Then that gift is purified by the recipient. C, by neither. That means the giver and the recipient both are not holy, both are not moral, etc. And then D, by both. That means both the giver and the recipient are virtuous, or maybe even Aryans. 4 bases of sympathy: generosity, pleasing speech, beneficial conduct, and impartiality. That means treating everybody equal. 4 un-Aryan modes of speech: lying, slander, abuse, idle gossip. 4 Aryan modes of speech: refraining from lying, slander, abuse, idle gossip. 4 more un-Aryan modes of speech: claiming to have seen, heard, sensed, known what has not been seen, heard, sensed, and known. 4 more Aryan modes of speech: stating that one has not seen, heard, sensed, known what one has not seen, heard, sensed, and known. 4 more un-Aryan modes of speech, claiming not to have seen, heard, sensed, known what one has seen, heard, sensed, known. That means lying. 4 more Aryan modes of speech, stating that one has seen, heard, sensed, known what one has seen, heard, sensed, known. 4 persons. Here a person A torments himself, is given to self-tormenting. B torments others. C torments himself and others. D torments neither himself nor others. Thereby dwells in this life without craving, release, cool, enjoying bliss, become as Brahma. This one, the first one torments himself, is like some of the ascetics. They do all kinds of practice and they inflict self-torture on themselves. The second type torments others, maybe a king who is very powerful and is a cruel king, he torments others. And C, he torments himself and others. Some people, like during the Buddha's time, even the king, they do certain penances, torture himself, and then does a sacrifice to heaven. Then he'll kill a lot of animals, 500 or 1,000 animals. So he torments himself and makes the animals suffer. Then D is like a monk. He does not torment himself and does not torment others. 48. 4 more person. Here a man's life benefits himself but not others. B, others but not himself. C, neither himself nor others. D, both. 4 more persons. A, living in darkness and bound for darkness. B, living in darkness and bound for light. C, living in the light and bound for darkness. D, living in the light and bound for the light. This one, I guess, living in darkness and bound for darkness. This one is somebody with bad karma, so he's born in a very poor, and he might be paraplegic and all that. And then because he does bad karma, he's bound for a bad rebirth again, bound for darkness. Then B is person in darkness, bound for light. This one might be somebody under very poor circumstances. Maybe like during the Buddha's time, there was a beggar. He begged for his food and he didn't have money and all that. But he came to listen to the Buddha's Dhamma. After that, he was born in the heavens of the 33. Very powerful. So he understood the Dhamma. Then even though he was very poor and begged for his food, but he lived according to the Dhamma. And maybe he heard the Dhamma and understood the Dhamma and became a stream enterer. C, living in the light and bound for darkness. This is some people who are very rich and enjoying life and every day wine, women and song. But because of bad karma, they're bound for a bad rebirth. And D, living in the light and bound for light. Some people born under very good karmic circumstances, are very rich and handsome or beautiful, etc., and do a lot of good deeds, and then they're bound for a good rebirth. 54 more persons: the unshakable ascetic, the blue lotus ascetic, the white lotus ascetic, the subtly perfect ascetic. This one is mentioned in the I think Anguttara Nikaya we went through. These are the sets of 4 things which were perfectly proclaimed by the Lord. So we should all recite them together for the benefit, welfare and happiness of devas and humans. We stop here for tonight. It's quite a long sutta. Anything to discuss?
Buddhism, Ananda, but his request to ordain a nun. So he says that because of the ordination of the nuns, the true Dharma lasts instead of thousands of thousands of years. What is it here?
The Buddha said, if nuns did not ordain then the Sangha is strong, and the true Dhamma will remain for 1,000 years. But after nuns were ordained, then the Sasana is weakened, and the true Dhamma will remain for 500 years, meaning that it is unpolluted for 500 years. And true enough, we find after 500 years after the Buddha's passing away, then false Dhamma appeared. What is this false Dhamma? Basically Mahayana and Hinayana. Mahayana, they came up with a lot of new sutras, and the writers of these Mahayana sutras basically were Nagarjuna, Asvaghosha and Vasubandhu. These three wrote a lot. The most was Nagarjuna, and he, in his biography, he said that the Buddha hid these sutras, Mahayana sutras, in the ocean, Dragon Palace, and he went down to the Dragon Palace and took it up. But that is unacceptable to us, because during the Buddha's time there were no books. How could the Buddha have hidden the books in the ocean? Secondly, the Buddha said he has no closed fist of a teacher. He does not hold back anything. Yes, all that was important, he already disclosed to his disciples. Also you find the Mahayana sutras, they always talk about Mahayana and Hinayana. This Mahayana and Hinayana only started 500 years after the Buddha passed away. So earlier than that, there was no Mahayana and Hinayana. So you know from that that these sutras could not have existed during the Buddha's time. So these Mahayana sutras are found in Mahayana, for example, including Vajrayana. Mahayana meaning nowadays like China, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, these countries. And then Vajrayana would be the Tibetan Buddhism. So Hinayana is another wrong teaching. Hinayana refers to those who follow the later books like the Abhidhamma, the commentaries, and other books like the Visuddhimagga, Yatipakarana, Pitakopadesa, and all these later books. So, because they follow the later books, they don't realize, just like the Mahayana sutras, there are contradictions with the earliest Pali suttas. So the real Theravada should practice only the 5 Nikayas. But even then, the last Nikaya is corrupted. So like after this Digha Nikaya, I'm going to talk on the Khuddaka Nikaya. And out of the 15 books in the Khuddaka Nikaya, only 6 are reliable. So I'm going to only talk on the 6 books. So the Buddha said the reason the sasana, the Buddhist religion, is weakened after nuns were ordained, because the Buddha said just like a house, if it is attacked by robbers or bandits, and they have all men inside the house, they can defend the house better than if they had some women inside. If they had some women inside, they have to fight the bandits and they have to worry about the women. So when after women were ordained, the monks have to practice the holy life, and then they have to look after the nuns again. So it's a burden for them. That's why, like in this monastery I mentioned last night, I prefer not to have any nuns here. Don't have to carry the burden.
A question here. On page 493, item 37, it's always of descent into the world. One descent into the mother's womb knowingly, and one descends into the...
Yeah, what about it?
Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, this one, the Buddha says, if a being is going to be reborn into the womb, after that being dies, then he is known as a Gandhabba. Some books call it the intermediate body. In Chinese they call it Zhong Yin Shen. So this It's called intermediate body because it's only a transition state lah. So it's like you catch a plane. You want to go to like our Kusala. He wants to go to Switzerland. He catches a plane from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. And then Singapore is only transit for a short while before he catches the next plane to Switzerland. So that this Gandhabba state or intermediate body is a transitory stage lah. It's on transit only, a short time only lah. So this Gandhabba, he enters the womb and the conditions are right. And what's the right condition? Mother and father must come together, and mother is fertile, is in season. So the egg is fertilized. Once the egg is fertilized, then this Gandhabba can enter into that egg. Okay, so when he enters into the egg, most beings will be blur. So the first one, he enters into the mother's womb. He's not aware, he's not mindful. And then he stays there also not aware, he's still blur. And then he comes out of the womb also blur, he doesn't know. And the second one, he enters the womb knowing, he knows that he enters the womb. But when he's there, he's like in a dream state, he's sleeping. So he's unknowing and leaves it also unknowing. The third one, he enters the womb knowing, stays there also knowing. When it's time to come out, he's unknowing. He's like sleepy, he doesn't know. And then the fourth one, his samadhi is good. Then he enters the womb, he knows. He stays there also, he knows. When he leaves the womb also, he knows. Okay? Oh yes. Number one? 491. Okay. I guess it refers to being and non-being. It's not form and formless. Let's see what the 1065. Commentary also don't know. This is not some. Or it says commentary says all honey, ghee, etc. But it says mysterious, not supported by none. Being and non-being. Ropes we know, arms we know. Okay, it could be, I give a guess. Being means the monk, because he knows he's practicing the holy life, the karma, generally if a person wears the robe and practices the holy life sincerely. Sincerely means he keeps the precepts and he tries to meditate and all that. But maybe he's not a good meditator. And being means he wants to be reborn in a beautiful heaven with maybe 500 devis around him. And non-being means he has excessive desire for liberation. When a person to stop being, when a person has excessive desire to attain liberation, then he uses too much effort. He also will not attain liberation, because if he uses too much effort, the mind is boiling. The desire is so strong. Like the Buddha, initially he put in so much effort to become liberated. He tortured himself, all kinds of ascetic practices he did, austerities, and he could not get out of samsara. Okay?
Can you elaborate on the word enmity and cruelty?
Say again.
Enmity and cruelty.
Enmity and cruelty. Enmity refers to hostility, not having metta. That means aggressive. Some people they don't have much metta, so they are very rough, aggressive type of person. Cruelty means wants to harm, want to harm somebody. The first one, the enmity, he has not come to the stage of wanting to harm somebody. But it's just that his character is very rough and hostile and don't have metta.
And he's very kindness and compassion. I thought the person is like loving kindness, compassion.
That's a slight difference. Loving kindness, metta, refers to goodwill towards all beings. Generally. Compassion means you see somebody suffering and then you feel pity. You want to help. There's a slight difference. Yeah.
Okay. And referring to page 488. 488. The verse 5. It seems that you develop mindfulness on feeling and the mind can gain mindfulness and clear awareness, and to contemplate on the Dharma can lead to the destruction of the corruptions. But how about the bodies? In the four Satipatthanas, there should be a body too. But why is not stated here?
Under C, is it?
Yeah, under C and D. Under C, the contemplation of feeling and perception are mentioned. And under D, the contemplation of Dhamma is mentioned. But how about the contemplation of body?
Under D, you have body, the five aggregates. Body, feeling, perception, volition, consciousness.
But this is quite different from the contemplation of the body. Here is included in the contemplation of the five aggregates.
Okay.
But the Satipatthana, the first one is the contemplation of the body, and the last one is the contemplation of Dhamma, which has five aggregates inside.
Okay, this number 5 is talking about samadhi bhavana, development of samadhi. Okay, how to develop samadhi? So to develop samadhi for sati sampajanya, that means to keep your mind focused on sati and clear awareness. You must always look inside. Then, and when your perceptions arise, your feelings, your thoughts arise, you notice them, and you notice them go away. So if you practice this, it helps to develop your concentration. This is not sati sampajanya. This is not sati. This is samadhi bhavana, development of samadhi. And then the other one that leads to the destruction of the asavas is to contemplate the five aggregates, to develop your samadhi. So this is only the development, the steps to develop your samadhi. It is not satipatthana.
On the same page and four contemplative meditation. So here one fixes his mind to the perception of day by night, by day by day. Recently, he fixes his perception to something bright.
Yeah.
Day and night.
Yes. So at night also, his mind lights up like daytime.
On page 485, speak up or improve based on what we see, what does that mean?
That means, if you want to, like during this Vasa period, the monks stay together for 3 months. At the end of the rains, we have a ceremony called what do you call it? Pavarana. This Pavarana, the monks will invite each other to criticize, to reprove him. So, if you see another monk has done something wrong, based on what you have seen, you have heard, or you suspect that he has done wrong, then you can reprove him, you can criticize him. Okay? But then we also have to practice tactfulness. Normally, certain things we don't want to bring it out in public, but in private you can tell the monk. Okay, shall we end here?